Yes, hello, dears. This is the Ninth Dimensional Pleiadian Collective, and we are very happy and very honored to once again have an opportunity to connect with you. So, as we go here, we're going to cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time, probably not all in a linear fashion, so you may hear some things the first time through, and as you listen again and again, you're going to hear new and different things. And know that whether you're able to grasp all the concepts from the get-go or whether you have to chew on them for a bit, you're getting the information energetically. And the mind will eventually catch up to understand. But through the heart center, the processing center for the higher dimensional realms, you're getting all the information that is required. And it is really our honor and our pleasure to be able to share our perspective with you. And it is just that. It is a perspective. It is not the end-all and be-all. It is not the only perspective there is in the universe. So it is vital that you take the bits and pieces that resonate with you as we go today. So we'd like to discuss 2010. The year that you find yourselves in, the year of manifestation. And the reason we call it that is that this is the year that you really get to practice your skills, to hone your skills at manifesting consciously. You all are 100% of the time creating and manifesting your own reality. But now the difference is that you get to consciously create, that you are generating that which you desire. And sometimes you're creating some things that you didn't know that you desired, and learning how to shift out of those creations as well. You are divine source energy. You are part of source energy. It is your natural right, if you want to call it your birthright, that you are able to create and generate your existence. All of reality, well, first let us say it's an illusion. But all of reality is vibrational signatures. And it is first created and generated at the energetic level. And then it is projected into density, or pulled into density. You can think about it either way. And it is this illusion of density, this illusion that things are solid, that things are permanent, that things are immutable, or things are difficult to change, that is one of the perks of the third dimensional realm. It can make things seem very challenging, especially during this time where you're trying to learn to manipulate matter and you're trying to learn to manipulate reality. But it is one of the perks and the benefits of having a third dimensional experience. It is unlike any other dimension because of this fact. You also experience time in this dimension, which is not experienced in the same way in any other dimension. Time is a marker. It is a record locator for an event. That is all that time is, and that's how it's utilized in the other dimensions. In the third dimension, your perception of it is that it flows in one direction and that it's linear. That you stand on one timeline and you experience it from start to finish. But the truth of the matter is that you are constantly moving back and forth between different timelines. One of the ways that we describe this is as the harp of probability. If you can envision a harp with multiple strings on it, and each of these strings has a different note or a different vibrational signature. And realities are very much the same. There is a different vibrational signature that is assigned to each version of reality because of a different setup. What you perceive to be your past is actually a setup or an agreed upon set of circumstances that creates the now that you are experiencing. So these different setups create a different potential, a different vibrational signature for the now. And there are infinite setups. But you choose the one that has the vibrational signature that you're interested in experiencing and exploring. And as you move through reality, as you move through time, you think you have a linear progression. Again, on the third dimension, you think you're on one string, but in reality, you are constantly moving back and forth between the strings on the harp. From the multidimensional perspective, we know this. This is natural. This is normal. This is how we work with reality. But in the third dimension, seeing multiple realities at once seems very foreign, especially because one of the constructs of the game that you're playing is separation. You think you're separate. You think you're separate from different versions of realities. You think you're separate from source. You think you're separate from the person sitting next to you. You think that they are not connected to you. That's, again, one of the perks of the game. What does it feel like to be completely separate, to feel completely different, non-connected? And it is unique to this dimension, and it's very special, and that's why the game of density was created in the first place. In all the other realms, in the higher realms, we know we're connected. We constantly feel absolutely everything that's going on around us and what others are constantly experiencing. So you're constantly moving back and forth between these timelines, but because you're perceiving reality through the filter of the third dimensional mind, you think that you're only on one. So that's one of the first concepts we want to introduce to you as you learn how to manipulate your own reality, how to manifest reality, is that it is very malleable and that you are constantly changing and moving through timelines. So if you knew nothing but that fact, that there are other versions, if you want to call them probable realities or parallel realities, they're going on, you can shift your focus energetically to those versions of reality, and that can shift what you are manifesting. All right, so one way to think about that is if you're manifesting the potential for an accident. All right, you're doing something that you don't really want to do. You can either heed that inner call that says, I really don't want to do this, and make a new vibrational selection. In other words, make a choice that says, all right, I'm going to do something different. Or you can stay there, follow through, and then create an accident for yourself to get your own attention, to say this isn't really what you wanted vibrationally. You're sending out another signature, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Through the laws of reflection, you are seeing the universe present you with opportunities that are a vibrational match for that which you're pulsing out. So if you can see that there are multiple choices always out there for you, then manipulating reality becomes easier. It seems far more malleable, at least to the linear mind. The mind is the filter for the third dimensional version of reality. It is what allows you this limited perception that there is one direction for time flow, that you are disconnected from others, and that you are only on one probable timeline. It's a beautiful thing, because it is so unique and so unlike any other way of being. So don't discount that and be in a rush to want to head off into the higher dimensions. Enjoy where you're at, because it is very special. Is it challenging? Yes, it is one of the hardest dimensions to exist in, especially on planet Earth, where the range of emotion is so completely vast that you have extremely high highs and extremely low lows, and it makes it a very interesting game. So the mind is the filter for the third dimensional realm. The heart is the filter for the multi-dimensional realms. In other words, you've already got it built into your energetic systems, a way of processing multi-dimensional information. The mind takes that data in, and because of the game you're playing, it throws all of the extraneous data out. It can't begin to comprehend all the multidimensional levels because it's only designed to take in one version, one timeline, so everything else gets dumped away. It gets thrown out. Now the heart center takes all that in. It knows all that information, and you have access to it. And you can shift to use that heart center to expand yourself now, to perceive reality with all this extra data and all this extra information. You can think of it as an operating system. All right? To play the third dimensional game, you're running the operating system of the mind. As you move into the higher realms, as you start to go through this process of ascension, when you start to increase your vibrational frequency, you're going to start to move into the vibration of the fourth dimensional, multi-dimensional perspective. And in order to be able to work within that arena, you got to have a different operating system running. Right now, you can't have both systems running at the same time. You have to run one or the other. You haven't quite reached that point that you're shifting into the new system. So you're still operating primarily out of that old third dimensional system of the mind. But you're getting to the point here where more and more of your programs, if you will, are running with the new operating system. Some programs can run on both systems, all right? Some can't. And you're getting to the point where you are ready to drop that third dimensional operating system altogether and make the complete upgrade, and that is ascension. And a lot of that's going to happen at the very, very end before you're ready to completely let go. So, as you start to manifest consciously, it's all about understanding vibrational frequency, vibrational signature. You are constantly pulsing out signatures, vibrational frequencies that the universe responds to, and through the laws of reflection, reflect back to you that which you are pulsing out. All right? This happens through the laws of attraction. The law of attraction is how the universe aligns the right reflection. Now, you have thoughts that you're pulsing out, those hold frequency. You have emotions that you're pulsing out, those hold frequency. And physically, your body is holding frequency. All right? Your physical vehicle is a combination of your mental and emotional states that have been solidified into density that create and generate your physical vehicle. So all of these levels, your energetic levels, are creating your reality. Now, we always say thought creates form, but your emotional states vibrate it into being. And what we mean by that is that most of the mental thoughts that you have, the ones that are running at the conscious level, can be a bit neutral. All right? You can say, I want to create this. But your emotional state is really the powerhouse. Where your emotions are really determines that which you are creating. The more passionate you are about something, or the more, we could simply say the more emotional you are about something, the faster you're going to create and generate it. The more fear you hold about something, the faster you're going to generate it. The more excited you are about something, the faster you're going to generate it. And what we mean by faster is that you're going to see it reflected back to you in physical reality sooner. Now, as we're talking about time and manifestation, as you increase in frequency, the illusion is that things are manifested faster. All right? As you go higher in frequency, time begins to compress upon itself so that it's shortened. All right? Your 24-hour day seems more like it's about 16 hours. All right? That's this year, 2010. Next year, it's going to seem more like you're getting about 12 hours out of your 24-hour day. Time just moved slower when the frequency of the planet was lower, when your own personal vibration was lower. Earth is increasing her overall vibrational signature, and so are you as individuals. This is the ascension process. Earth is increasing her vibration. Individuals are increasing their vibration until they reach a point which they shift into the new dimensional game. Now, this has never happened before where a planet has gone through the ascension process along with human beings. It's very unique. You've had one or the other, but never the two together. So we're not sure how it's going to play out. And what we mean by this is this version of you that is having this experience of reality. Remember, we said that you experience yourself on one timeline. And this is a lot for the mental capacity to really grasp. But there are other versions of you on all of these other timelines that are also having experience. It is this version of you, the one that's listening to this tape right now, that thinks that this is all there is, that is undergoing this transformation. It is this version of you that holds all of the power to create, to transform, and to manifest. So this version of you, as you are thinking about that which you want to create, and the more excited you are about it, the more you are pulsing it out into being, the faster it's going to be reflected back to you. Now, we can't tell you exactly how things are going to happen, because which version are we going to tell you about? Are we going to tell you about the version of you that's on this timeline? Or are you going to shift timelines? Are you going to shift your energy to another timeline? So is that the version of the future that we're going to tell you is going to play out? That's why we say it's hard for us to tell you how it's going to play out, because we don't know. We don't know which version of time, which timeline you're going to choose to be on. Because also part of this is that you have so many choices in such a short period of time that some of these are major choices that will put you and throw you, if you will, onto a completely different timeline. Also, the percentage for you to choose a new choice, you could choose a choice that's filled with fear. You've got 98% chance that you're going to choose fear, and 2% chance that you're going to let go and choose love. You're going to integrate. You're going to let go of all your judgments. 98% of the time, we would tell you that this is the choice that you're going to make. But because you've got a lot of support energetically from the universe, you've got a lot of support through your environment, through the other beings on the planet who are also making these unique choices, these low probability choices, if you will, that in some ways it makes it easier for you. You're excited to try new things, or things that are quote unquote unlikely, improbable, that you make that 2% choice. And that, again, puts you on another timeline. So it gets very hard for us to tell you which version of the truth, which version of events you are going to select. So we can't say how it's going to play out. You are teaching us. We are learning from you about how to make bold choices, about how to integrate duality. You are living in a dimension of duality where you've got light, dark, positive, negative, male, female. You can't have one without the other. But you're teaching us because you're living in one of the most challenging dimensions in density, where you have limited access, or we should rephrase that, you have limited conscious access to your records, to your full divinity. And that was by design. All right, so now you're shifting that to have more and more conscious access, but the majority of people on the planet don't have conscious awareness of their own divinity. And as you learn to access that, as you learn to let go of all of your judgments about what is right, what is wrong, as the light judging the dark, as the dark judging the light, as you learn to let go of all of those judgments, that is integration. And that's what you're in the process of doing, learning how to integrate. As you learn how to integrate, manifestation gets much easier. So as you experience time, there is a lag in what you're pulsing out and what you are seeing reflected back. As you increase in frequency, as we were saying earlier, time appears to accelerate. It collapses on itself. Higher frequencies move through time and space at a faster rate. And that will continue to go faster and faster and faster until you shift into the next realm in which time ceases to exist, at least in the way that you are used to experiencing it. So this year, things are going to come very quickly. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to perfect your skills of conscious manifestation. So it's very exciting, and we want to support you in this. It's been out there for several years. There have been a lot of people talking about manifestation, but there are a few key points that people get stuck on, and those we want to talk about. The first thing, as we said, thoughts create form. It's your emotional states that drive it into being. Your emotions are the accelerant. So if you have the thought that you want to take a vacation, that's the thought, that's the form. You can create a vacation for yourself. If your emotions behind it are that you're worried about money, you don't know how you're going to get the time off from work, you're going to come back to a stack of bills, then you may get your vacation, but you also get debt, and you get a lot more work, and you're very stressed, because that's where your emotional states are. Now, the same thing goes with the same thought. All right, I want to take a vacation, but this time, as you think about it, your intent is that you're creating a vacation that is really wonderful, because you get to relax, you get to have a vacation with lots of great food, great people, great fun. What you create for yourself is a vacation that's a lot of fun with great people and great food and a lot of relaxing time. They're very, very different. The thought's the same, but the emotional states are different. So those pulse out different vibrational frequencies to the universe. Now, it's not your responsibility to figure out how all this is to take form. Form is up to the universe. Intent and vibrational signature that you're pulsing out, that is your part of the game. The universe's part in co-creation is to provide you with form. Now, the universe can create form and create things in ways that you can't even begin to fathom, that exceed your wildest imagination. And when you stay open to the potential that the universe can create these masterful things, you don't have to know all the ins and outs of how it's done. You just have to be there to receive it. You allow for more probable timelines to become available to you. Remember, we said that you constantly move back and forth between these timelines. So if you think that something can only come to you in one way, there's only one form that that thing can take, then you're staring at one timeline, and that's it. There's only one, if you want to think of it as a doorway, there's only one doorway that can come to you, or way that can come to you. And you ignore, you eliminate from your conscious perception the ways that the universe can bring you other things, and it limits your ability. So part of manifesting is about understanding your role, that you are not responsible for the form. You are only responsible for the pulsation, the intent of that which you desire to create. If you want to think about manifestation as you sending out the pulse, all right, you can think of it as a boomerang. You throw the boomerang out there. That's your order to the universe. You say, this is what I want to create. Here's my thought and here's my emotion behind it. You throw the boomerang out there, and the universe fills the order and it brings it back to you, and there you are. All right? So now if you've got a really high vibrational thought, you can think of it like climbing up in frequency. So now you're standing on the roof of the building and you're throwing the boomerang out there to the universe brings it back, you're standing on the roof, there you are, your order has arrived. Very good, well done. You've manifested that which you desired, and you got it. It was reflected right back to you. What happens more often than not is that you all pulse out what it is you want, all right? And then you drop out of the vibrational signature that you're in when you're creating. So here's how it looks in physical reality. You think, I want to create a lot of money, or I want to create a dream job for myself. And then the emotion says, that's the mental thought. The emotion says, that feel really good. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be wonderful, fabulous. So you've got positive emotions behind it. Well, then the ego takes over. All those belief systems that say that things have to be this way or that way. I'm not good enough. I'm not deserving. I'm not trustworthy. Whatever beliefs the ego has, all these programs are running. And what happens when they get activated, all these doubts, is that you drop out of the frequency range that you're in when you are pulsing out all of this this desire to the universe. So when the universe brings the order back, you're no longer standing in that vibrational range. So rather than standing on the rooftop where you put your order in, you're now down on the 5th floor because you thought, I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving, I'm not smart enough. And so you think the universe just never brought you your order. All right, the universe did. It did bring it to you, but you weren't there. You were no longer in that vibrational range to receive it. What you really have done is put yourself on another timeline. All right, take a nice deep breath, because that's a lot for you all to think about. That this is another timeline that you put yourself on. But for now, you can just think of yourself as being on a different floor. You're no longer on the same floor. The delivery man's come to the roof and you're not there. All right? If you put yourself back in that vibrational state, back up on the roof, your order can be redelivered. All right? So it doesn't take as much energy when you put the order back in, but you just have to hold that vibrational state. The same thing happens when you're in worry, and we want to point this out because you all will be up in high frequencies and you'll drop out. It's practice learning to identify where your vibrational signatures are. And this is about you learning to become more and more aware of how you're feeling, where your thoughts are, where your emotions are. If you find yourself in a grumpy mood, if you find yourself in a depressed mood, cranky, irritable, those are all lower vibrational signatures if you find yourself in fear. So you're standing down on the 3rd floor, all right, and you're pulsing all this stuff out. Well, the universe is going to respond, all right, because it's going to reflect it back. This is how reality is created and generated. It's all starting at the vibrational level. So you're pulsing out all of this fear. The universe says, all right, I've got to bring you this reflection so that you can see these programs are running in your field. And so the universe brings back an accident. Many of you will think, well, I didn't create this accident. It just happened to me. I had no part in it. Well, we'll tell you it is very much the opposite. You 100% did create and generate it based off of your frequencies that you were pulsing out. So what you can do, and this is why this year 2010 is so valuable, is that you can become more and more aware of where you're vibrating, and you can very, very quickly alter, if you want to think about it as canceling some of the lower vibrational signatures, you can. So here's how it looks in physical reality. You are cranky, you're irritable, you have been invited to go somewhere and you really don't want to go. If you were to follow through with that, you'd probably be stepping off the curb and break your ankle. All right, there's an accident waiting to happen. In reality, you were aware of how you were vibrating. You thought, I'm really in this cranky space. What's creating this fear? I'm doing something that I don't really want to do. All right, you become aware of that program running and you shift the program. And so rather than doing something that you don't want to do, you call your friend up and say, you know what, I'm really sorry, but I'm not going to be able to join you. And you've increased your vibrational frequency because you looked at what you were pulsing out and you decided to shift it. So rather than that accident finding its way to you, you've increased your vibration and now you're standing up, say, on the 8th floor, all right? On this 10-floor building, you've moved up from the 3rd floor to the 8th. So the accident comes back to the 3rd floor, that vibrational range, you're not there. So you don't experience it. You experience something different because you've altered your vibrational signature. All right? And that's really how it works. The universe matches your pulse, and then are you still standing in that same space by the time that you experience that pulse, by the time the universe brings it back? There is, as we said, a lag time, and that is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So you're not having to wait 6 months, 6 weeks to pull in an experience. The universe is bringing it in 6 minutes, 6 hours, maybe 6 weeks. So it's coming faster and faster and faster. So as you are holding higher and higher frequencies in your vehicle, the higher you are in frequency, what happens naturally is the lower frequencies that are in your vehicle start to vibrate. They start to get excited, and they start to pulse a little brighter, if you will, so that you can generate them in physical reality, so that you can see them, so that you can shift them. This is how the game was set up. You all knew you were coming down into density. You knew you weren't going to remember everything, all the programs that were running. So reality was set up to be a reflection for you, so that you could see everything that was running at the energetic level. So you could fine-tune and make shifts and adjustments. Everything is first created and generated at the energetic level. The first place it shows up is in your body. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in your body, then you start projecting it out into the external world, and that's what you get is reflections in your relationships with your family members, with your co-workers, with your friends, with your lovers, your mates, your spouses. And they are all reflecting back to you your beliefs about yourself, how you perceive the world. Through the laws of attraction, beings are attracted to you. You always attract the right person at the right time based on vibrational signature. So these are the two primary laws that are creating and generating your reality. The law of attraction and the law of reflection. All right, so like attracts like, and that like thing is being reflected back to you. If you've got people who are judging you, people who are unkind to you, that's an indication that you have programs running that you are holding judgment on. So whatever others are judging you for, you're judging yourself for. Any place that you are judging other people, it is a program that's running within yourself that you are judging you. All right, so that's something that it's really important for you all to be aware of, that others are just simply reflecting reality back to you about you and how you feel about yourself. What other people think about you really doesn't matter. It is a reflection more of their own beliefs about themselves than it has anything to do with how they really feel about you. All right? And it really doesn't matter what anyone thinks. So if you're judging others, it's you judging you. If you are in a situation where other people are judging you, then that means that you are still judging you. Through the laws of attraction, you're going to draw in a person. If you're drawing people in who say, you're wonderful, we love you, that's showing you that you have the programs, that you appreciate yourself. All right, that you think you're pretty wonderful. So it works both ways. Now, as you go here through 2010, as we said, you're going to have the opportunity to be more and more aware of just where you're vibrating, how you feel about things. And what we ask you to do is just to be more and more in the present. Present is all that exists. The now is all that exists. The future, the past, those are all going on concurrently. Remember, linear time is an illusion. Past, present, and future are all going on in the now. Another way for you all to think about that is to see the past, the present, and the future as different strings on that harp of probability, that they are all different timelines, and that you are skipping and hopping to a different point on a timeline. So, in order to incarnate and to have this illusion of linear time, you can think of it like a spotlight being shown onto one single string. It's very sharp, it's very clear, very focused. That is your soul essence being projected into the vehicle, which is having this experience on this linear timeline. When you start drifting off and thinking about the past or worrying about the future, what happens is this light is diffused. So this sharp, focused light now has bits and pieces that are kind of drifting off and shining on another timeline to the right and to the left of the string that you're on. All of your power, all of your ability to create and generate and manifest your reality is in the now. So when this light is diffused, it's your soul essence going off on different timelines, which Your focus is not on. So it's like wasted energy, in a sense. You are not holding or harnessing your full potential or your full power. And that's why we tell you it is so important for you all to be so focused in the now. How do you know if you're focused in the now? What are you thinking about? Are you really listening to what someone is saying to you, or are you thinking about how you're going to respond? Are you thinking about all the things that you have to get done after you have a conversation with this person? Are you thinking, I really need to get to the store before it closes, so I need to wrap this conversation up, as opposed to just listening to what the person on the other end of the line is saying to you? Are you thinking about a conversation that, the two of you had 2 months ago, perhaps? Perhaps you had a bit of a spat. And as you're having the conversation with that person in the now, you're thinking about that conversation 2 months ago. Again, you are not present. You're not fully present. You are diffusing and putting yourself off on different timelines. So you're not able to harness all of the power to create and manifest. So try to be aware of where your thoughts are. Are they with the activity that you're doing? If it's not, don't beat yourself up. If you become aware that you are not focused in the now, it's all right. Just try to get yourself back centered on what it is that you're experiencing. How do you feel about what you're hearing, what you're experiencing? What sensations is the body picking up? What do you recognize? When you're really fully present, your sensory perception becomes far more expanded. You're going to hear more, you're going to smell more, you're going to taste more, you're going to see more, and you're going to feel more. All of your senses are heightened. It's a very different way of experiencing than the normal way that you all are used to. Because you're used to being a bit scattered. You're not used to being in the now, being fully present. Right? So we've got to get you back to utilizing your full power and your full potential. The benefit of being in the now is that if you find yourself not enjoying a particular situation, if you find yourself not enjoying the vibration, or if you find you're triggered, you might find yourself getting activated. You might find yourself activating fears. You may be having a conversation, and then all of a sudden you find yourself feeling very worried that perhaps you're not good enough. All right? The fact that you're aware of how you're feeling is huge. It is a powerful, powerful tool for you, because you can recognize that you've got programs running and you can shift them. You can change your perspective. You can alter the vibrational signature that's been running. If you're not paying any attention, that feeling that somehow you're inferior or not good enough is going to go right on through the subconscious level, at the subconscious level, and you're not going to pick it up, so you're probably not going to make as many changes. This year, with 2010, it's going to be much, much easier, because things are coming faster and faster, that you really get to practice this. You get to be more aware, and you get to make changes in the programming. So how does that look in physical reality? You make a mental note. If you are in a situation that doesn't allow you the luxury of taking a step back, so let's say you're at work. All right, you're with your co-workers and you find yourself getting activated in the middle of a meeting. Well, it's not really a time that you can take in that moment to get to the root of it and see where else you've created and generated this feeling or this emotion, to see how it's been of service to you. So you just make mental notes. Say, all right, I acknowledge how I'm feeling, and we're going to look at it later. That's one way that you can deal with it. Sometimes when you're fully present, you can make a new decision right then and there and be done with it. You can shift it. You can decide to make a new choice in that moment. And it really is as simple as that. That you decide, oh, all right, this is the vibrational signature of the past, that I'm fearing that I'm not good enough. But I am good enough. And I'm experiencing this to show me that this is my pattern. It taught me that I have more power available to me. And now I'm going to make a new selection. All right, I'm going to use the power. In the past, I've created this incident to show me that I have more power power available, but each time I chose not to use it. The incidents in the past were of service. That program is of service to you to show you something about yourself. And when you see how a program has been of service to you, why you created a situation in the first place, you can shift it energetically. In other words, you let go of all of your judgment. And when you let go of judgment, you integrate. All right, and that's the whole name of this game, is integration. So if you put something off until a later date, so let's say you get home that evening, and you can sit down and say, all right, that got activated today. So how did that serve me? What is it teaching me about myself? And you can, again, ask yourself that. Ask yourself aloud. Write it out. This gets it out of the body. It gets it out of a mental activity and starts to put it into physical reality, so it's more tangible, so that you can really sink your teeth into it. And when you first start, you're going to say, I don't know. But you can work with the subconscious and keep writing the first part of the sentence out. How this has been of service to me is, or the reason I've created this is, what this is showing me about myself is, fill in the blank. You may say, I don't know. Keep going. Keep starting. Eventually something's going to pop up. You're going to have an idea. You'll say, this is what it's showing me. And once you have that realization, you shift. And this is not about making right or wrong choices. There are no right or wrong choices. There are only vibrational selections. This is a subtle way of thinking about things, but when you start to perceive reality as simply vibrational selections, you release a lot of charges, because there is so much judgment being held through your religious programming, through societal programming, cultural programming about what is right or wrong, what is appropriate or inappropriate, that when you start to see things simply as vibrational selections, these programs don't get activated in the same way, as opposed to saying, oh, well, this is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. It gets much easier to shift and to kind of find a backdoor way around some of these belief systems. When you do that, it's almost a way of you being able to clear some of these cultural programmings without having to deal with them head on. You kind of sneak around the back way, you get to the root, and you clear everything out beneath it. So all the structure that's pumped it up to that fear, so all the ancestral stuff, all the ancestral beliefs about what's right or wrong, when you clear it out of yourself, the whole thing collapses. All the ancestral beliefs get cleared as well. So this is one way of kind of going around all of that, by seeing it simply as a vibrational selection. It's very subtle, all right, but it has a profound effect in how you create, how you manifest for yourselves. So when you look at reality that way, it gets much easier. Do I like this vibrational selection that I've made? How does it feel? Do I like it? Do I want to keep creating it? Same thing with with belief systems. It's another way of thinking of it. Do I like this belief system? No, this is a fear program running. This is a result of this fear program. Do I like the result? Do I like the vibrational selection I made? If not, make a new one. The universe will respond. It's also important that you don't use the past as a constant reference point. That because things played out one way in the past, remember that's another timeline, it doesn't mean that it's going to play out the same way in the now. All right, it's impossible for anything to play out identically, because you yourself are not identical to how you were when you created the original event. Simply by having the experience of that event, that first event, you've changed the potential of the outcome for repeating that pattern, or how the variations, the nuances that you create and manifest. So by letting go of the past, all right, as we said, it is another timeline. You're on a completely different timeline, so it's not going to be identical anyway. So just because things have happened in a certain way in the past does not mean that will happen again, or that it need happen, or that will be created in an identical way. When you all fear making any vibrational selection, that is the fastest way to shut down your energy flow. Indecision. If you are making a choice, doesn't matter what it is, all right, your energy is still flowing. It's still flowing to create and manifest. As long as it's flowing, it's much, much easier for you to be aware of whether you like the vibrational selection or not. If you don't like it, you simply make a new selection. You pulse something different out. You become consciously aware and you start pulsing out the new selection. And so you will create and generate a different vibrational result. In other words, you'll make a change. But when you're in indecision, the universe can't bring you anything because you shut down all of your energies. So you're not pulsing anything out. It's almost like a flat line. If you think of waves, as frequencies as being waves, when you make no decisions, when you make no steps, it almost flat lines. So we would encourage you to just go ahead and make a choice. There are no wrong choices. There are only vibrational selections, and you can choose whether you like the selection or not, and if you don't like it, you make a new one. Now that's a point for all of you that you have a hard time with, is that you think if you make a selection, you're going to be trapped, that you're not going to be able to make a new choice. That's one of the constructs of the third dimension. Those are all archaic beliefs that are held within it's held within the religious belief systems, it's held within the cultural belief systems, that you are locked into the choices that you make and that they're very hard to change. Well, remember, time is moving differently. So for those generations in the past, yes, time did not move as quickly. So for them to generate, it did take more time. So from their perspective, yes, in many cases it did seem like they were stuck with the choice for quite a while. For you, no, because things are moving so rapidly, you make selections and you change your mind and you make new selections, and they come right one behind each other. So you're not waiting years. Sometimes you wait hours, sometimes you might wait a week. Which brings us to another topic that we want to talk about, which is your perceptions that the universe isn't necessarily bringing something back to you. This is another part of manifestation that's important for you all to understand. What many of you will do is you'll climb up to the roof, you'll get yourself in a really good vibrational feeling state. You'll be pulsing out your thoughts, you're pulsing out high vibrational energy, and then you'll look at your watch and you'll say, the universe hasn't brought me what I want. I must not be deserving, or it's not coming, or this doesn't work. That's a big one for you all. This doesn't work. This manifestation stuff doesn't work. I don't create my own reality. And what happens is you drop out of that frequency. Sometimes what you're asking for is of such a high vibration that the universe says, all right, I want to bring this to you, but you can't hold this vibration. You don't stay in that space long enough. You're not on the rooftop long enough for me to bring it back to you. So you've got issue A and issue B that you've got to clear in order to get that issue C, or that thing that you want to create for yourself that's up there on the rooftop. So what you get reflected back are A and B. So perhaps you've got a fear of abandonment and you've got a fear of trust. And in order to get what you're asking for, you can't have either of those fears running in your field. They drop you out of the vibrational range. So what the universe reflects back to you is A and B, so that you can clear it in order to get what it is you want. Sometimes the universe will bring you what you need in order to get what you want. Remember, you are constantly pulsing out vibrational signatures, and the universe is reflecting back to you. So all you ever have to do is be aware of what is being reflected back to you. The more you are looking and observing that which you're creating, that which is right in front of you, the more you're in the now, the more you can integrate some of these fears or lower thoughts, the more you can let go of your judgments, so that you can maintain the higher vibrations, so that you can create those high vibrational things that you're asking for. That's the fastest way to manifestation. Doesn't matter what it is that you want to create, what you think you want to create. Look and observe, what are you getting back? What's being reflected back to me at any given moment in time? Look at your results, because you're always going to get what you need to clear, to get higher and higher and higher in vibration. Now, also one of the things that will happen as you increase your frequency, these lower vibrations will start to vibrate and get pulsed out. These fears, in other words, these insecurities, these negative beliefs that you have about yourself will start to get pulsed out and reflected back to you so that you can clear them. If you are in a very high vibrational state, you think things are going really great, and then all of a sudden you create an incident for yourself and you think, well, what lower thought did I have? What did I do that created all of this? It's not that you did something wrong. It's that this was running in your field and the universe knew that you wanted to increase your vibration. So it brought you back the reflection so that you could integrate this issue, because you weren't integrating it without the reflection. So again, the universe brings you what you need in order to get what you want, which is more joy, which is more love, which is more happiness, that you're increasing your vibration. Another way to look at this is through the laws of resonance. Lower vibrations are going to increase their vibration to match that of the higher one. So the more love you're holding, the more anything unlike love gets activated, projected, so that you can see it, so that you can transmute it, so that you can hold more love. But as you all start to awaken up and you realize that you are creating and manifesting your realities, you all start playing this game. It's a pitfall of waking up, that you say, what's wrong with me? I've got all these things to fix. I've got this issue and that issue, and it's really important that you see yourself as perfect, that you are a divine being of light. You are brilliant. Your light is never diminished. It's all of these distorted beliefs that are part of the ego that distort the light that is projected back to you as it's projected out of you. All right, they're distorting your divinity. It's an illusion. So see yourself as already being perfect. There's nothing you have to fix. There's nothing you have to correct about yourself in order to manifest or generate. The process is simple. You are just removing these filters or these distortions which are creating these unique reflections that create these things in your physical reality. So have fun with it. It's a game. The whole thing is a game. We know that's a hard one for you all to take as you walk through your life, because it feels so real. It feels that this is all there is to you. But we assure you that you are an immortal being who is projecting itself into this lifetime, into this vehicle. The vehicle is very malleable. The same thing goes with your health issues. As we said, everything is first manifested at the physical level and then projected out into the world. So your physical body is giving you clues. If your body is out of balance, you've got an illness, it's because of a belief system that's running. It's something that's happening at the energetic level first. And through the laws of attraction, you've either attracted toxic chemicals, toxic food that you're consuming, toxic people that you're encountering, and you're just getting that reflection back so that you can fine-tune and make an adjustment. It is very malleable. You can change it very, very quickly. Your beliefs may tell you it takes time, and that's the belief or the program that you're running. You can also shift that program. You change and you recreate your reality with every single breath you take. Your beliefs don't change much, so your reality doesn't change much, but it has the potential to. As you change your belief systems, as you change your understanding about who and what you are, you can very quickly change your reality. You can change it in a breath. And this is the year that you really get to practice that. As we move into 2011, it is the year of activation. So as you're learning to manifest, as you're perfecting your skills at manifestation, you're altering your vibrational signature and you begin to activate new programs. You begin to activate new centers of energy in your body. And you will continue to do that for 2011 as you move into 2012, which is the year of transformation. As you begin to activate more of these centers, as you begin to activate new DNA, you transform the physical vehicle. But where does all that begin? That starts with 2010 and the year of manifestation, as you begin to observe what it is you're manifesting so that you can shift these vibrational signatures, as you can shift this energy and these frequencies. That's where it all begins. And you get to really put it into practice this year. See it as all an illusion. And it becomes much, much easier. It becomes much, much more malleable. And you can look at your belief systems and see which ones tell you that it's solid. All right, those are fears. And you can shift those. You can work with those. You can play with those. Have fun. And that's the biggest thing that we want you to walk away with, is that this can be fun. This whole process is a big adventure. Your soul's very excited to be down here. It's like an amusement park to your soul. So we hope that your personality and your ego can also begin to perceive that. Enjoy, play, explore, have adventure with being able to create and manifest. Dream. Use your imagination, your creativity. That's part of it. And know that there is support. The universe is supporting you. It always has, it always will. You are not separate from the universe. You are connected. You are connected to source. You are divine source energy. So what you are putting out, what you're pulsing out, what you're creating, what you're experiencing, the universe is helping you to co-create that, but it is all you. You are the generator. You are the instigator. You are the creative being that is thought up all of the things that you experience as life. It's quite powerful. You're a very, very powerful being. So own that. Step into that. Embrace that. And the universe will support it. So dears, we are around. We are watching. We're waiting. We're observing. If you need assistance, feel free to call on us. And we will be happy to assist you in any way that we can. Put your question out there. Put yourself in your heart center. Listen. Trust what you get. If there's any doubt, ask for confirmation. And until then, we'll be watching and waiting and sending many well wishes.